Welcome to my channel, where your adventure into the future starts right now. Step into a vibrant universe filled with groundbreaking technology, breathtaking alien landscapes, and exhilarating sci-fi narratives that challenge your imagination. From daring explorations of distant galaxies to haunting journeys through dystopian societies, we uncover the most captivating stories and innovative ideas that will shape the world of tomorrow. Subscribe today and join us on an incredible intergalactic voyage that promises to inspire and thrill. The vastness of the galaxy had opened the doors of exploration to countless species, and the Galactic Academy stood as the crown jewel of knowledge, serving as a unifying institution for those who sought to understand the cosmos. Students from a myriad of planets had studied together for centuries, sharing their knowledge, experiences, and, above all, their cultures. These students were brought together by the common pursuit of learning, and for the most part, they lived in harmony. At least, that was how it appeared. For many of them, the universe was a vast, interconnected place where peace was the norm, and conflict was an anomaly. It was in this environment of relative tranquility that they were introduced to Earth, a planet that, until that moment, seemed almost too simple to consider. Earth was a blue and green jewel, positioned in a solar system far from the more civilized hubs of galactic society. Its distance from the interstellar highways and its relatively peaceful appearance meant that few other species had taken the time to study it in depth. Its history was seen as a primitive one, a world that had just barely begun to reach for the stars. Despite humanity's technological advancements, there was nothing about Earth that seemed extraordinary from a galactic perspective. No advanced spacefaring civilizations, no incredible resources, no ancient relics of superpowers that might interest the students of the Academy. Earth, to the outsider, was simply another garden world, another place teeming with life, but ultimately irrelevant to the grand workings of the galaxy. For the students of the Academy, the prospect of traveling to Earth was, at first, a dull curiosity. They had visited hundreds of other worlds in their studies, seen the marvels of hyper-advanced species, and participated in galas and events where war was nothing more than a historical footnote. But as their ship neared the pale blue dot that was Earth, their curiosity began to build, and their minds began to wander. What could this world offer them that others could not? Was there something hidden beneath the planet's seemingly mundane exterior? They were about to find out. Their first exposure to Earth came with a tour of one of its major cities. The Academy had made arrangements for the students to observe human culture at its peak, to study the city's infrastructure, technology, and social systems. The planet's cities were massive, sprawling metropolises that housed billions of people in densely packed urban areas. Earth's technology, though impressive, seemed crude compared to the advanced worlds the students were accustomed to. But there was something unique about it, a certain grit, a drive to overcome. The students watched as humans went about their daily routines, working, building, living. The city was organized, bustling with life, but it wasn't without its struggles. Traffic congestion, pollution, and occasional malfunctions in the city's systems were common occurrences, but they didn't seem to bother the humans. To the alien students, it was a world that appeared both primitive and advanced in equal measure. But even as they marveled at the city's impressive technology, they began to notice small anomalies that made them question the assumptions they had about Earth. There was something about the way humans interacted with their environment, a certain edge to their behavior. It wasn't overt, but it was there, lurking beneath the surface. Earth wasn't just a world of peace and prosperity. It was a world that, despite its technological advancements, had a raw, untamed energy to it, a violence that pulsed just under the calm exterior. The first true hint of Earth's dangerous nature came when the students were taken on an excursion to one of the planet's vast jungles. The lush greenery seemed inviting at first, but as the group ventured deeper into the forest, it quickly became apparent that this was no serene, peaceful place. As the students walked beneath the dense canopy, they felt an unease settle in. The air was thick with humidity, and every step seemed to echo with the presence of unseen creatures. The noises of the jungle were a constant symphony, chirping insects, calls of unknown animals, rustling foliage. But there was something in the way the jungle pressed in on them, as if it were alive with intention, a living, breathing entity that wanted nothing more than to see them fail. One of the students, a young zither from the peaceful moon of Caldra, fell behind the group, distracted by a strange plant she had never seen before. It was a beautiful plant, with iridescent flowers that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. But as her hand brushed against the petals, a piercing shriek split the air, followed by a violent tug. The zither screamed, yanking her hand back, but the tendrils of the plant had already wrapped around her wrist. The plant was alive, predatory, and its tendrils seemed to grow stronger with every movement. The student scrambled to free her, but the plant refused to let go. It took the combined effort of 3 students, one a humanoid from Zerloth and another a swift Andromedian, to cut through the tough vines with their energy blades, rescuing her before the plant could drag her further into the depths of the jungle. This was the first encounter that revealed Earth's true nature. Everything on this planet, from the tiniest blade of grass to the towering apex predators, was designed by nature to survive through violence. The plant wasn't just a passive organism, it was a hunter, adapted to ensnare anything that approached it. And it was just one example of the many dangers that lurked on Earth, waiting for any unsuspecting creature to make a mistake. The students, already shaken by the encounter, began to question everything they had been taught. The peaceful, tranquil nature of their home worlds now seemed naive, even childlike. They were beginning to understand that Earth wasn't just a place where life flourished, it was a place where life fought for every inch of existence. And the creatures that survived were those who could adapt to a world that demanded constant vigilance, constant survival. Earth wasn't a paradise, it was a battleground. Every living thing on the planet was part of an intricate web of violence and struggle. As the days went on, the students encountered more of Earth's dangers. They were taken to the savannas, where they witnessed the majestic herds of herbivores that roamed the plains, blissfully unaware of the predators that lurked in the tall grass. The students watched in awe as a pack of carnivorous felines, sleek and powerful, ambushed a young antelope. The students were stunned by the brutality of the hunt, how the predators stalked, surrounded, and ultimately took down their prey with ruthless efficiency. It was a display of natural violence that left the students speechless. But it was just another example of Earth's reality. Survival wasn't a passive affair. It was an active, aggressive struggle, and the only way to survive was to be better, faster, and stronger than the next predator or prey. The students were also taken to the oceans, where they encountered massive creatures that patrolled the deep waters. The oceans of Earth, while breathtaking in their beauty, were home to some of the planet's most lethal animals. The students watched as enormous predatory whales fed on vast schools of smaller fish, their jaws snapping shut with terrifying speed. Even the ocean itself seemed hostile. The currents could change in an instant, pulling the unwary into the deep, and underwater volcanic activity could create sudden, deadly eruptions of heat and pressure. Through these experiences, the students began to see Earth not as a simple world, but as something far more complex, something far more dangerous. Earth was a death world, a place where every aspect of life was a contest of survival. It wasn't enough to simply exist here, you had to fight for every moment of your life. Every creature, from the smallest insect to the largest predator, was engaged in a constant war for resources, for territory, for survival. The planet's very ecosystems were a battleground, no peace, no harmony, just a continuous struggle to stay alive. The alien students returned to their academy with a new understanding of Earth. They had been forced to confront the truth about this strange, brutal world. And in doing so, they learned not just about Earth's life forms, but about the humans who had evolved on this hostile planet. They saw how humanity's history had been shaped by constant conflict, wars, natural disasters, the fight for resources. Humans had learned to adapt to their environment, to harness their intelligence and creativity in ways that allowed them to survive. They had created technologies to protect themselves from the dangers of their planet, and they had formed societies to help one another endure the harsh conditions. The students understood now why Earth had earned its nickname as a death world. It wasn't just because of the dangers that lurked in its jungles and oceans. It was because life here was forged in fire, and every species, human or otherwise, was shaped by the need to survive against overwhelming odds. The Deathworlders had conquered death not through power, but through ingenuity, adaptability, and sheer will to survive. It was a lesson that would stay with them forever, and it was a lesson they would share with the rest of the galaxy. Earth wasn't just a world, it was a crucible. And the humans who had survived its dangers had proven themselves to be among the most resilient beings in the galaxy.